Krull was first released in the summer of 1983. Directed by Peter Yates, this sword and sorcery epic stars Ken Marshall and Lysette Anthony, while also featuring early roles from many familiar faces including Liam Neeson, Robbie Coltrane, and Alan Armstrong. Part fantasy, part space opera, Krull makes its mark on both, providing us with a unique world filled with magical creatures, dangerous enemies, and virtuous heroes on a noble quest. The story takes us to the distant planet of Krull, a world reminiscent of medieval Europe, complete with ornate castles and sword-wielding knights. Here, an enemy from space known as the Beast has arrived in a massive ship called the Black Fortress. With an army of deadly minions known as Slayers, the Beast is determined to rule the planet and subjugate its inhabitants. The children of two rival kingdoms, Prince Cowan and Princess Lissa, have decided to marry and pool their resources to defend their lands against this new enemy. But after a vicious attack that decimates their forces, Princess Lissa is captured and carried off to the Black Fortress. Having survived the attack, Cowan sets out on a journey to find his bride and save his planet. Aided by a band of ruffians and carrying a powerful weapon known as the glaive, Prince Cowan must cross a nightmare landscape to reach the Black Fortress, rescue Lissa, and defeat the Beast once and for all. Shot in England's Pinewood Studios, it utilized 10 sound stages, including the massive 007 stage to create the various swamps and forests that the story required. Filming took place during the winter of 1983. Conditions were very chilly that year, making it difficult to heat the large building. This often led to the actors being cold and exhausted. Over 100 different costumes were created for the film, everything from ornate gowns to leather riding gear. Among them were 40 Slayer outfits, as well as a myriad of props including swords, daggers, gems, crossbows, and various other fantastical items. In a strange connection to my previous review video, the costume for the castle guards in the opening sequence would turn up 2 years later in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Go check out that video. Look for it in the scene after Pee-wee breaks into the studio lot and asks a passing actor for directions. You can't miss it. The score was composed and conducted by James Horner and is considered by many to be one of the highlights of the film. Portions of it are reminiscent of his work in other sci-fi films from this era, such as Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Trek II Wrath of Khan. Segments from the score would also be incorporated into the Disneyland Paris attraction Space Mountain Mission 2. The film released to mixed reviews and lower than expected box office returns. Making just over $16.5 million in the US, it failed to earn back the near $30 million production cost. Though not considered a success in its time, it has gone on to gain a strong cult following over the years. I can safely say that my dad and I did our part to contribute to the box office numbers by going and seeing it that summer. I distinctly remember him speaking favorably about it after it was over. And though I was an easy-to-please 8-year-old at the time, I can clearly remember being captivated by the adventurous story and dazzled by the numerous special effects, which were pretty decent for their time. Watching it now, I have to say that I am a bit more critical of a few aspects of the film. At a little over 2 hours long, I feel there are moments where the pacing slows a bit, especially around the midpoint. A little trimming might have helped with that. In the attempts at comic relief, mostly involving the bumbling magician Ergo and his shtick of mistakenly turning himself into silly animals, is leaned to a bit more than I'd like. With that said, I do believe that Krull is an enjoyable movie and has plenty to offer fans of sci-fi and fantasy, especially those who are fond of movies from this period. A highlight for me is Horner's score, which sets the tone for the world building on screen and provides the adventurous vibe the movie is going for. Another is the glaive. I'm a sucker for exotic weapons in my sci-fi fantasy, and though it doesn't get a chance to shine until the final battle in the Black Fortress toward the end, this 5-bladed spinner is uniquely designed and gives the movie a memorable prop that has come to be synonymous with its overall identity. Star Wars has lightsabers, Tron has light discs, and Krull has the glaive. For me, Krull is one of those unique standalone movies that I look back on fondly. Though not a powerhouse in the pantheon of 80s sci-fi fantasy, the nostalgia is on point and definitely worth a revisit. I liked it then, and I still like it now, and I can't ask for more than that. Have you seen Krull? How does it stack up to other 80s sci-fi fantasy films? What other movies would you like me to discuss? Let me know in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. If you'd like to help this channel grow, please consider subscribing to keep up on future videos. I really appreciate it. And until the next time, have a good one.